Hey, what's up, Rachel?
Hey.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Huh?
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks.
You're a legend.
Okay. I'll take it.
Yes.
What's going on? How you feeling?
Good. I had a phone call from boxing about, different options. That's what I...
Turn off the video camera.
Good. Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we had a follow-up conversation with Richard. A bunch of different options on the table, so we're seeing which one's gonna move first. Like we were talking about this morning, like the environment right now in the 115s and the 118s is pretty interesting. Because it's half waiting to see who's gonna fight who and what's gonna be relinquished and etc. So. I was watching the nietes but streaming because I don't know if my dad found it last night, but I know he was texting me. And I asked Richard, and he's like, no, they don't have US streaming. And so I don't know if my dad watched the whole thing, but from the tidbits that I saw when I was on the treadmill, yeah, it just seemed like he was just on the outside. He was trying to fight, Ioka from the outside when he had the opportunity to close a distance. He didn't really effectively work. I don't know why. I mean, he had the game plan for Ioka before, so I don't know what the change was.
That was a great breakdown. I agree with you.
Yes. I heard Ioka.
I'm impressed. She got me speechless. I'm waiting to hear more. She talking. I'm waiting to hear more. She is so impressive.
Yes, he is.
Hey, Ioka's bigger. So when watching the fight, man, like you said, I can say his name for me. Nietes. Is it Nietes?
Yeah, Donnie.
So the way, like you said, he should have been trying to close the distance. Man, ain't no way you can Ioka come forward at range, you know what I'm saying? At his range, down like that. What, in your opinion, what would you have been telling him outside of jab? Make sure you use your footwork to get on the inside. And I asked that question because I think it's kind of what happened with Mark Maceo as well in the Ray Vargas fight, not knowing how to close the distance the right way and make it the type of fight he could be successful in. What you think about that?
You're talking about two different styles of fighters. Nietes has a lot more foundational training. Magsayo likes to bet on that big haymaker punch of his, which you can't throw that. Okay, so do you want to talk about Magsayo first or Nietes?
Let's go, Magsayo.
Okay, Magsayo, the problem with him, or what he needs to work on, is how to effectively box, if he needs to. I don't believe that from the last fight, the one that was on the Pacquiao undercard, we had seen that he was effective boxing at a distance and didn't fall in love with trying to put on a show and trade punches with Mark. You can win on the scorecards because he's there to hit. He doesn't move his head as much as he should, and boxing's not one of his strong points. So when Freddie said for him to box, when he win round by round, that's not Mark. It's not Mark. But Mark is a dangerous puncher if he lands it. He didn't know how to close that range. He didn't know how to slip the jabs. And when he was on the inside, he couldn't find that distance. Now, I don't know who his sparring partners were before, if he used sparring partners that were that tall. But Mark's normally used to being, around the same height as most of his opponents. So that gave it a different dimension to him to have to overcome. As far as Nietes goes, he's more a foundational puncher. So I was surprised at the lack of head movement, the lack of feints. Ioka was able to push him on his back foot on just following up on his the jab, double jab, triple jab. He's backing straight up. He slipped a couple times. He slipped a couple jabs a couple times, but then he rotated off of his front foot, leaned to the right side, and then didn't do anything. So he had the distance to do something, but then he didn't expound on being on the inside at all. And then range, like I said, like I was texting in the chats, like there was things that he wasn't setting up with the jabs, which Nietes knows how to do, but throwing shots like a reaching uppercut is so dangerous. And I don't know where exactly he was trying to go with him. I felt like he was fighting a lot taller than I've seen him. He wasn't bending his knees as much as I used to see him. And he was just every single time Ioka came in, he backed up. It was known that he would back up, and if Ioka picked him on the second or third jab, he knew he was going to be there. Especially when he got him back against like just a half a foot step away from the ropes again.
She dropping gems.
She knows. D Ray, respectfully, you got a little feed.
I don't know if I can do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, so that's my breakdown. Oh, there is a.
It was right now without even me talking though.
Here, let her talk.
Consideration. It's something that he is wanting to do because he got the interim at that 115, and he doesn't like it that he only touched that division. Nobody wanted to challenge him at the division. I know we were after Christian Mahara's at that weight. Several fighters who wanted to fight at 115. No one wanted to fight him there. And that's why he effectively moved up to 118. Now looking, back in history, he's like, I should have gotten a belt when I was there. So he wants to be able to at least touch it. I don't think he wants to stay around that division. But I know he wants to put that in his trophy cabinet.
Yeah,
per se.
Nice touch. Yeah, definitely. He's already a legend. I bet you guys hear that all the time. He's like, you're already a legend.
Yeah, but there's something like, that's like just self-determination and drive. I can't determine what his goals in his career are. And I know if he leaves the sport without his goals fulfilled, I know the 80-year-old him would be like, I should have, could have. I was right there. It's not like he's at 126.
Especially for us older men too, man. Like, it's like, damn, look at Nonito, man. Like, still banging. There's a lot of the older, Chocolatito, a lot of us, that have been in the game for a while.
Yeah, I think it's literally just taking care of yourself, like Nonito rarely drinks. And if he does, it's usually a whiskey or a red wine. And then he eats super healthy. Today's Wednesday, and so today is all vegetables and fruit. So we have like a whole schedule, especially with the boys, and the boys are used to it, that like Wednesday we'll do plant protein based pastas with vegetables on top, and then Thursdays whatever they want, I give them that day off, and the weekends. But then Fridays fish, Mondays beef, Mondays chicken, Tuesdays Taco Tuesday, and then Wednesday's vegetarian. They don't eat. We don't have milk in this house. We have coconut milk. We don't have rice. We have cauliflower rice. So it's a whole like system that we get all the nutrients that we can through foods, and
definitely looking good and in shape. I need to eat better. I need to quit. I quit cigarettes. I used to smoke cigarettes. I've been out of shape. I used to be in boxing shape when I was a teenager, but I joined the military and learned a lot of bad habits.
I was in the Air Force. I was smoking for a long time.
Yeah.
I was smoking when I met Nonito, actually.
Another question I had was, you said that that Nonito and Jesse Bam and Joshua have a relationship when they were younger?
Yeah.
When Bam was younger. He was it was Robert Garcia's gym, but Nonito was one of Robert's fighters at a point. So we train next to him. He'd come out to the fights, and just this whole like family relationship. Robert is one of those trainers that do not like, once he takes you in and you guys are family, like it stays like that. And like I said, if it comes to a point where we have to meet, then it just is the business of boxing. But with how many bouts out there and different people that we can fight, like, he would be the last person on the list that he would want to fight at 115. Especially with him being a newer champion and a young talent. You know, he wouldn't want to derail him at any point.
Yeah. AK Rod, I know you had a question for Rachel.
Yeah.
No, he wants meaningful fights, right? Like, so, you know, he's not in the game to just collect a paycheck. I mean, he's been out of the game to collect a paycheck a long time ago. He's doing it because he wants to. This is where his heart is. We made an agreement after the Inoue fight that if I ever feel that, you know, within training or within sparring especially, or, you know, I see things that are not going the way it should be, that he's getting out of the game, I'll call that shot. I mean, I can't say that it's been any different because he took a week off, and we were supposed to not talk about boxing for a month because it was my birthday month. I was like, let's just not talk about boxing. Let's just, you know, calm down, relax, and then think about it with a clear head. Sure enough, within a couple days, he was talking about boxing again. When we were in Cabo, he was training with Sugar Hill. Needless to say, it hadn't gone a couple days before he started talking about who he can fight, and looking at fights and showing it to me and saying, okay, well, what about this fight? What about that fight? What do you think about this? So I know that was kind of off the question, but for me, I would say for him to get what he wants, I would believe it around 2 years. We're at the end of this year, 2022. I would say 24, right? And that would give him 2 more years to do what he wants. Now, it's just dependent on the game right now about where people are and who's fighting who. And that's something I can't control. I could only just put them in the best possible scenarios. I think on H Money's, I said, you know, we're not hoping Nietes wins. I mean, we're not hoping Nietes loses because he's a fellow compatriot. We're friends with him. Yeah. And we believe in him. But business-wise, would that be the best move? Yeah, it would be the best move if Nietes lost. And it, you know, and so now it opens the door for Nonito because Nonito didn't want to fight Nietes either.
Right.
Yeah.
So
about to go get him.
I was gonna say, Rachel, looking at 115. So you got Ioka, I believe you got Martinez up there, and then Estrada. I think he's franchised into WBC with Bam being the actual WBC champion, and Estrada has the other belt as well. And I think Franco is I think it's WBA with Franco being right there as well. Who are y'all looking? Are y'all looking for the Ioka fight? Are y'all looking for the Martinez fight? I believe Estrada, he's looking to fight Chocolate. I think they're trying to make the Chocolatito fight again, I believe.
Yeah, they're trying to make the Chocolatito.
But if he fights Chocolatito, then the Franco fight gets pulled, and the WBA is not going to be super happy with them trying to unify the belts not unify, but, you know, condense, I guess, the belts with a super and a regular champion. So right. I believe that there is some type of, for lack of a better word, a threat, that if he doesn't fight Franco, there's going to be repercussions. Now, if he doesn't fight Chocolatito, there's going to be repercussions. So there's going to be a decision to be made, and there's going to be a lane open.
Right. Okay. So the Estrada, that depending on what he does, is kind of going to determine what y'all do. What you thinking right now?
Pretty much. I mean, I think we go after Ioka, and I like the Chocolatito fight. We've actually, when was it? I think it was after the Manny Pacquiao fight in August. We ran into some of his guys, and Estrada's guys, and Nonito, of course, was like, we were at a bar, and he was like, hey, so Estrada, and they're like, no, Nonito, we're not taking a fight with you. And I'm like, come on. And they're like, nope. Like, if we take a fight with you, it's a retirement paycheck fight. So I think that one's going to be a little bit harder. And again, with the belt situation, like to put us in that situation with Estrada, is just going to confuse the matters even worse.
Right.
Hey, well, look, I'm just gonna tell you, if Estrada has to fight Franco or Bam, bro, he gonna get messed up. He gonna get messed up in both of those fights, in my opinion. So hey, it's gonna be interesting. That the 115 is heating up down there.
Yeah, it is. And then there was the rumor that Bam was moving back down to 112.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was moving back because Franco had the fight with Estrada, or was supposed to have the fight with Estrada. And then they came out and said that fight's not gonna happen. They're gonna make the Chocolatito fight, which I don't know, but it's gonna be an interesting division down there.
It is.
See, I've heard that Estrada doesn't want to fight Chocolatito.
Hey, you know more about it than I do. I always give you that credit. So
you know something interesting I learned earlier from Rachel is that in a way he's not planning to stay at 118, and he's making the move to 122, even if Butler doesn't even want to fight him and holds the belt hostage. And but I think he'd have problems at 122. I don't think Inoue would, in my opinion, like I know he's good, but I think that Cool Boy Steph and Ahmed Eliev Styles, they're I don't know, they're gonna be difficult opponents, you know.
Yeah, they're really tough.
Yeah.
Rachel,
I know. Some of Casamaro's people asked me, his cutman asked me, he's like, what would you do? And I go, me? Who do you want? And they're like, Inoue. And I go, well, I would go up to 122 and challenge Inoue's younger brother, Takuma. I was like, and then get ranked in a 122. Takuma's at 122.
Oh, wow.
So go knock out Takuma. And then wait for Inoue. Because Inoue's going one way. He's going to 122. He's not staying at 18. So why would you stay around 18 trying to get a fight with him? You don't have a belt at 18. So he's not going to want to fight you. Go get ranked already. Wait for him at that division. That's what I would do. But, you know.
Did the Camaro situation get squared away?
Which situation?
The situation you were helping them with at the time.
Yeah, the quote-unquote alleged underage girl came out and was not underage and then retracted her entire case and story. So that's cleaned, but that doesn't take away from the fact that the WBO had taken away his belt from the sauna usage and gave it to Butler. So he was ranked number 1. Then Jason Maloney had fought in Australia, and they re-ranked him as number 1, so now Casamaro's number 2. So what's the point of staying around the division if you want to fight Inoue?
None whatsoever. Go ahead and move up to 20 and try to cut him off at the end, man. Try to cut him off.
Don't you think that would be a grudge match? Because what I'm looking at is if he fights Takuma and knocks out Takuma, then it'll be kind of like Darchinian versus Glenn Donaire and Nonito Donaire, right? It'll be a grudge match. He's going to come for him. So why not just go over there already?
Yes, ma'am.
It's inevitable. Just go up.
Right.
Subscribe, like, and share.
I agree 100%. Go ahead, guys. My bad.
And then there's a Japanese fighter that wants to fight Casimiro too, Akaho. He's a big 122 pounder. So I mean, even if he picks Akaho is a Japanese fighter. I don't think he has like that tight of relations with Inoue, like of course his brother does. But you know, it comes into national pride when you start beating countrymen. Akaho, when we saw him in Japan, said on an interview that he definitely wants to fight Casimiro. So, you know, I just think there's more options at 122 for Casimiro, being that he's number 2 in the WBO right now and has no belt. I would just move up.
Right.
Great interview,
Rachel, I have a question. You know, I don't follow a lot of gossip and all that crap, but is there still bad blood between you guys and Casimiro? Has there ever been an apology or?
Yeah. So, I mean, long story short, basically, Casimiro, like, in all honesty, when I do look back at it, he never said anything personally, himself. It was mostly Sean Gibbons. Memo was in the mix for a bit, and then Sean Gibbons' bark dog, Mark Yao. And then we were supposed to, after the Riggindale fight, a contract was sent over to Sean Gibbons, and then so we were calling out Casimiro to sign the damn contract. They did a face-to-face with us, and Casimiro said, no, listen, I don't get my contracts. He's like, Sean's holding it hostage. So at that point, that's when I turned around and I started to do some digging and found out, that he doesn't sign his contracts. His bank accounts are all messed up. And then Sean Gibbons had a whole fight against him and wanted to destroy him. That's where that alleged victim came in. His alleged victim came in from his assistant, Mark Yao, in the Philippines, quote unquote, finding a girl who was supposedly only 17, who supposedly got touched by Casimiro. A whole case got filed. I looked into it. I found her. I knew exactly who she was, what her date of birth is, where her medical records were located, and even her shot records for COVID. And I kept saying, I would go against Mark Yao. I'm like, listen, I was like, she's not underage. I go, you guys are making this all up. Comes to find out a month after that, a month ago, the girl came back out and said that she was supposed to be getting paid $200 a month for this case and wasn't getting paid. So she decided to come clean and clear Casimiro's name.
Oh, okay.
So I'm in touch with a lot of his camp. He sent me a birthday greeting for my birthday. We had met with him in February in San Diego, and Nonito basically accepted an apology from him, but it was really his camp.
Yeah.
And then we just said, Nonito's one way. He'll forgive you once, and then if you do it again, you're done. So yeah.
I love that. That's what I love about you guys. You guys have a clean. You guys base everything off principles. Like, you want to make sure everything's clean. The way you guys fight is clean. I remember the statement that came out from you guys and the reasoning. You know what I mean? It was nice, man. It was like you guys stand on good fundamentals or good. You know what I mean? Good principles. You know, you ain't gonna fight. You know, make a fight happen when. You know, there's no testing, and he's disrespecting. And of course, you know, you guys have, you have the say so. So
yeah.
I like that. Okay, when was your birthday, Rachel?
Huh?
Well, if you don't mind, respect. When was your birthday?
June 29.
Just right after the fight, brother. I remember them talking about or interviewing you because you had your birthday coming up.
Hold on, what day was it?
June 21.
Hey, look, I'm June. Salute to you, Rachel. A bunch of love. You just June 30th.
Oh, shoot.
We right there together.
Yeah.
Peace to the panel, peace to the chat. It's my first time on your platform, Skywalker. Thanks for having me. What's up, Rachel? What's up, guys? Hey, Rachel, I have a question for you. I'm assuming that you watched the nietes Ioka fight. And I got to the stream late, so I don't know if you've discussed this. So forgive me if you're rehashing old topics. But do you think that Nonito will be able to get the Ioka or the Martinez fight anytime soon?
Martinez wasn't anywhere in the conversation of Nonito. I just watched the Ioka fight on this channel while I was on the treadmill.